It's a sunny day in the mountains, just an hour away from Madrid, the Spanish capital. This group has come from all over the country to take part in an unusual outdoor activity.
You can use this as an arrowhead, a spear point, or an axe blade. You can also use it to start a fire.
It's one of the many survival courses organized throughout Spain. Participants are taught the basic skills needed to get through all manner of life-threatening scenarios. Juan is a long-time survival instructor. He's also a so-called prepper or preparationist, a term defining those who are bracing for any disaster that could befall us at any time. A belief that's been gaining ground with the pandemic, says the instructor.
People are beginning to think that living day by day is counterproductive. If we have the knowledge and can adapt our equipment to survive several days, then at the height of these pandemics or of emergency situations, we can save ourselves.
Survivalism is gaining momentum in Spain as it was hard hit by the pandemic. In less than a year, demand has increased by more than 30%, according to the head of this survival school.
One thing is to experience a survival situation if you are lost in the mountains. Another is to be in a survival situation when the whole state may be affected. When rescue teams, the social security system, the health system collapse, people realize they can't rely on the help of outside professionals as they used to. So they need self-management, self-security. It's normal that they seek training.
The COVID-19 crisis won Pascual here in black over to preparationism. This entrepreneur came all the way from Valencia, 4 hours away from here, to follow the course. He says he wants to learn what to do in order to protect his family if the worst comes to the worst.
What motivated me to come basically is the situation of uncertainty that we are experiencing. It's not as much that I worry about the pandemic as about what can happen after. The economic crisis we are suffering through, which we are going to suffer for years. When state aid dries up, we may start seeing mass layoffs in companies and so on. You may see food shortages in the cities, situations of chaos. There may be revolts. I'd rather take the initiative of preparing myself just in case.
Preppers' communities are thriving on social media, where members exchange concerns and tips to cope with potential catastrophes. But getting access to their private sphere is not easy. Well, a man who was supposed to show me some storage in Madrid tonight has just changed his mind, and it's the 4th time that preppers who had agreed to meet me in different cities of Spain cancelled our appointments at the last minute. One of our contacts sends us footage of the supplies he stocks in order to cope with potential disasters. Fuel, survival kits, dehydrated or canned food, but also camouflage attire, anti-nuclear equipment, weapons and ammunition. These are only a few of the items that preppers keep in individual or collective storage places that are always kept secret. Born in the United States during the Cold War, and sometimes linked to far-right ideologies, survivalism developed in Europe in often less radical forms. The philosophy of those who describe themselves as neo-survivalists or preppers is nonetheless worrying in the eyes of this sociologist and expert on survivalism.
Survivalists organize themselves in communities. They try to share the means to overcome adversity. To that end, they use the fable of the grasshopper and the ant. On one side are the grasshoppers, who didn't see winter coming, the catastrophe, in other words, us. And on the other side are the survivalists, the ants, who organize themselves, who stock up, who get organized especially in communities like colonies to get through the crises. They would be the chosen ones of the apocalypse, the chosen ones of the next world, the winners, while we grasshoppers would be the losers, and would almost deserve to die during this end of the world that's imagined, but also hoped for by the survivalists.
The next world is what the families we're meeting near the city of Toledo, south of Madrid, are bracing for. They're not among those who wish grasshoppers any harm, but rather are willing to share their knowledge. These seasoned preppers show us one of their familiar spots where they sometimes come to reconnect with nature and ancestral techniques like this underground oven going back to prehistory. But what is a hobby today could one day serve more serious purposes.
One thing is to be prepared for what might happen, and another is to be prepared for those who might want to harm you. Because unfortunately, when something bad happens, there are always people out to kill, out to rob, out to plunder. So you must always try to hide your belongings, to bury basic items in places that only you know. That can get you out of trouble. I hope nothing will happen, but one day or another, it will come.
Roberto and his wife Melania started a survival school a year ago. Burying goods in nature in order to survive for several months is part of their teachings. They prepared a prepper's drum for us. Medical equipment, canned food, seeds, candles, soap, ropes and knives are a few of the essential items of a prepper's basic stocks. Once the drum is buried, a stone is used as a landmark to find it in case of need. It's a demonstration for the camera. The family's treasures are hidden elsewhere and in larger quantities.
We're a family of 4, soon to be 5, so a bucket that small wouldn't be enough. We have 3 crates buried in at least 2 different spots in Spain. One of them contains all the medical equipment, another is for food, and the third contains everything we need for self-defense.
Are you convinced that you will need to use all these things one day?
There
can be natural disasters because the planet keeps getting in a worse and worse shape. There can be other pandemics. There can be all sorts of conflicts. So yes, I think I might have to use it one day. If I don't need to, it's better. But if I do, then it will be at hand.
There are people who think that those who are getting ready for that kind of thing are mad, but it's not the case. What better way to reconnect with nature while preparing yourself for what could happen, without being obsessed and spending your days thinking that the world will fall apart tomorrow? We're not getting ready for the world to end, we're getting prepared in case it ends.
Chin chin.